Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you see this. This is Dee with Older INFP-A Assertive Insights. And today I'm going to be talking about INFPs surviving in an apocalyptic environment or an apocalypse. But I'm going to say apocalyptic environment. Um, yeah, so this has been brought up before, and mainly by people who are not INFPs, who say we're going to be at the very end, and whether it's the MBTI world or socionics world, I've listened to both in the past, and they all think, INFPs are going to be eaten first, or die first, or whatever. It's survival of the fittest, and we're not going to make it. I did do something probably at least a year ago, a little bit about that, talking about it. And it's all in theory, but I have some, as usual, some examples, real life examples, that I think put some credence to my thought that we're going to be towards the top of the pack. Now, so that's what we're going to be talking about. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of housework real quick and say, why am I on YouTube when I said I was leaving YouTube? Things have changed, and INFP are adaptable. We're considered flaky, and that's okay. I'll accept flaky. I don't listen to it or agree with it, but no, we're more we're adaptable. So what does that mean? What this means is, for those of you who have been following me, I finally got my housing situation straightened out. I'm going to be able to stay where I am, but I'm going to be charged $200 more a month. And there's rules and regulations here that I don't agree with, and I don't think the manager is interpreting them correctly. But having looked for other places to live, including buying my own townhome, houses are just out of the question. Where I live, you've got to have at least $500,000 to several $1,000,000. That is not me. So, yeah, I'm looking at, townhouses and apartments. And the spaces are smaller and the prices are a lot higher. So, and I inquired, and being retired, I didn't inquire too much about a mortgage. I think I could get one for a townhome, but I don't really like that concept. Seems like, but I'm rambling. But the bottom line is, after doing all my investigation, and those of you who like NE type videos, then here's a part of it. I did all the investigation, I did all the looking, and people were not too happy, I think, about me being retired, even though I could afford to be there. So the manager here offered me to stay, to jack up my price $200 when the cap is $50. But I'll take it. I like where I live. I'm getting twice the space for actually half the rent of what another apartment would be. I have a 2-bedroom, and the only thing I can afford is a 1-bedroom. All my furniture is not going to fit in it, and they charge at least twice than what I'm paying here. Not being in a senior facility, the senior facilities here usually run, I say, $3, $4, $5, $6, $7,000 a month, and that's not assisted living. So I'm fortunate, and I said okay, and I can afford that, so I agreed to it. So what this means is, and I know I'm trying not to ramble, but just to explain a little bit, that I took it because it's still a good deal, and won't have to move. But that's $200 of play money that I don't have to put into the podcast. Um, Podcasting does cost money, a little bit, but every little bit helps. Here I am coughing again. Excuse me. I do not cough in the podcast. So what I've decided to do is archive all of my podcast um, episodes. I think that's what they call them. I have them in episodes, and they are being archived for a nominal fee. And I'm just going to take a break until I adjust my budget and adjust and see how it goes and get used to not just being able to go out and buy anything I want to buy, which is what I've been doing for the first time in my life, being able to do that. And my groceries are going up like everybody else's. Now here eggs are $5 a dozen. They were $2.50 last week. So anyway, I need to eat. Bottom line is I need to eat. Podcasting has a different mindset than YouTube. So I think I'm going to put the real insights, the real heavy-duty insights into the podcast format, and then just my ramblings like now here. There are a few of you, I was going to stop, but there are a few of you have given me feedback that you do like what I do and hope I stay here. So I'm not going to be doing anything new in the podcast world right now. Have to get all that figured out, what I can afford and not afford. So yeah. So getting back to, I've just spent a couple of minutes or so explaining why I'm here. Hope you're still with me. Those of you who follow me probably are, if you are still finding me. Those of you who are just finding me for the first time, hi. Just look at some other videos that I have that are more enlightening to you maybe. But this is what you're going to get. You're going to get some rambling, and you're going to get some insights. And my ramblings are insights too. So you got to do what you got to do. So getting back to the apocalyptic part of INFPs living. As some of y'all also know, I'm probably tired of hearing about it, and I'm tired of obsessing about it, is that where I live here in North Carolina in the United States, we just had in the mountains, where is my second home. I used to live there. I used to have property there. Even when I moved back I live in central North Carolina now. Even when I moved back, I bought a place up there as a vacation home when I was working. I'm retired now. And it's just always been a place since I can remember, and a baby, that is just home. And that has been wiped out with Hurricane Helene. It's going to take years to put the highways and everything back together. So people there are comparing it to like an apocalypse. It's biblical is what they say. One of the mayors of one of the small towns said if people ask him what to compare it to, has he seen anything like this before, and what to compare it to. And they did have a flood of 1916 up around Asheville, North Carolina, but he was saying, and he was from a small town outside Asheville, he was saying, yes, there is a comparison, and it's in the Bible, in the book of Genesis, and it's called Noah and the flood. So I'm not a biblical scholar. I don't know if that is the book of Genesis. I do know the story about Noah, but it's that bad. So what does that have to do with INFPs? Well, people around here in North Carolina, for the most part, in North Carolina, I'm finding on forums and Facebook groups having nothing to do with that, are being kinder. I've noticed that. They are being kinder and not as curt and snappy. So one thing that happened was that one guy on a Facebook group, there's a new restaurant that opened, fast food restaurant, and he was complaining about he didn't get any ketchup for his fries, and he was just griping, just a you know what fest about that. Not to say anything good about it. That was his only gripe, and his main gripe was that. And people were, blasting him about it. Well, bring your own ketchup, or you get what you get, and they just opened, and chill out, man, whatever. And I put in there my thoughts, and I put that I was in there when they first opened, and I was, and the girl, I say girl because I think she's in high school, and probably her first job. I said she got my order wrong, had a hard time getting my order right. I had cash that day, and she didn't know how to make change, and but she's working. And I said she's trying. Good for her. She's out there with a job. She's working. They'll work it out. The kitchen staff kept asking me what I wanted on my burger, what I wanted. Kept on and on. It took a long time. People were coming and going, and I was first in line. But I just took it in stride. They're going to work it out. They are working, and a lot of them, that I think it's probably their first job. They're out there trying. So, give them a break, and, the world's not going to end just for that. And so that was just saying basically what happened to me. I didn't get all upset, and just don't get all upset. They'll work it out. They're new, the restaurant's new, the people are new, some have never had a job, all that. Don't even know if the manager's been a manager before, but they'll work it out. It'll happen. This is an INFP thing. Just chill out. I tell people breathe. That's why I don't get along with the ISTJs and the ESTJs of all around me where I live, in the whole city, in the area where I live, is because when they get all upset, like this guy's all upset about not having ketchup one time, and there was a line out the door, and they're trying their best. I just tell people to breathe, and I know it upsets them when I say that, but I'm going to keep saying it. Breathe. That's the INFP thing. Breathe. So that's a bad thing that happened to the person, but somebody put on there. Two people did actually. The second one I can't remember, but the first one put a response to my response, and I thought, oh gosh, what are they saying now? And she was younger, because I always look to see who responds to my response, and she was about my kid's age, and she said, thank you for that. She said, we need more people in the world like you, and that just really hit home. And I wasn't doing it as trying to be kind, and I wasn't doing it as trying to be INFP or anything. I was not trying to mediate anything. I was just giving my viewpoint. And when she said that, we need more people in the world like you. And then somebody else responded to that agreeing. I forgot what she said, but, agreeing that kindness goes a long way, and to that effect. And so I got to thinking, yeah, here we have a crisis. We have a crisis in the state. We have an apocalyptic type of experience in the state, which means with everything happening, I expect gas to go up. I expect food to go up. The price gouging is going to happen. We're going through a big mess that we've never seen before. The likes of which, I'm not going to repeat that saying, the likes of which we've never seen before. This is true, but gosh, I just can't put. Oh, Lordy. I'll be glad when this election is over. All that's in my brain. But yeah, I was just being me. And so, yes, it was heartwarming for some people. And I got a lot of like and love emojis, more like several dozen. And this is a small community page, because the town over from that I call my town is actually a smaller town. And so they liked it, and they loved it and liked it. And so yeah, INFPs have a purpose in the apocalypse. We're not going to be eaten first. people enjoy what we say. We give hope to people. Another example was that really, and I will say, I have said I do not cry. I will say that last night I cried. And it took this apocalyptic event to get me to cry, because I was so touched. There was somebody that I know. I play fantasy sports, and I play fantasy football for over 20 years. And I've known the guys I play with different times, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, some 20 years. And we kind of grew up together. We've watched people get married, get divorced, our kids grow up, spouses pass away. I mean, we know each other. And wasn't thinking too much about that, other than I'm losing really bad this year, and I have like 16 teams, and I'm not doing well in any of them. So that part bothers me, but I wasn't really thinking too much about them when I'm thinking about what's going on in the state, because I am going to donate. I think I'm going to send $1,000. I don't know where, but I have an idea. I'm going to send like 500 to a major food bank who are sending prepared meals to those who they find, and the first responders and anybody in Western North Carolina. I think I will do that, and I'm going to find another. I used to run a nonprofit up there, so I understand which ones, and I think I'm going to give some money to a place where I used to be the director of, where they have free medicines for those who can't afford it. I'm sure a lot of medications have been lost. People are going to need it. I don't know how they are going to get the medications, because I'm sure the building where the company is have been underwater, is flooded. So I got to work all that out, but that's what I'm going to do, but to help out. But yeah, other than that, I haven't really been thinking that much about it, just being really sad for everybody. And but last night, getting back to, I'm rambling a little bit more, but last night I got a text. And it was odd, because I got a text from one of the people that I play fantasy football with, that, and the reason he has my number, I don't give my number out, the reason he has my phone number is that I help him. I used to be the commissioner of several leagues, and I don't want to do that anymore, so I've handed it over. I've made up the rules in true INFP form. It's not a standard league. I've made up rules and how we do things on my own. I've made up unique kind of leagues. That's my creativity. And that's the INFP part. And people don't understand it, but they try. But he's taken over one league. So that's why he has my number. I got a text from him, and he lives in the area. I don't know which state he lives in. He used to be in North Carolina, then I think he moved to Tennessee. I don't know exactly where he is right now, but he's in the area. And his text was, how are you doing? How are you doing up there? He wanted to know how I was. I thought it was a little odd, but I was a little touched by it, and then I remembered, oh gosh, yeah, he's in there. So we got to talking a little bit, texting, and he said his house, he told me that his house is still there. He still has a house, and he lost electricity and doesn't have internet. I don't know exactly how these phones work. Can you text without internet? Maybe he went somewhere where you do have internet. I don't know, but because I don't text very well. I don't like to text. INFP form, we don't like to communicate on the phone or anything. We just don't like to. But I needed to talk to him, and so yeah, I told him. I said, help's on the way. I'm watching the news. Help is on the way. You just hang tight. And he just said, thank you for that. Thank you for being here. So yeah, out of everybody in the world he could have texted, and I'm sure he texted a lot of other people, but he didn't have to text me. He didn't have to text the INFP. But he did. And he got a lot of comfort, I think, from texting me and what I said and my words of encouragement. So yeah, those are two examples. Those are two real life examples from an apocalyptic type of event where INFPs were not eaten first, second, third, whatever. People reached out to us or actually said, we need more people like you. We need more people like you. So we are needed. We are not going to be, regardless of what anybody says, those that are the brash leader type, cutthroat type people in events like this, a lot of times don't know what to do. We have that calmness about us, even though we're freaking out ourselves. I guess we have that calmness about us, or as I said earlier, my what I just tell people that drives them nuts, I know, but I just tell people, just breathe. And just breathe. It's going to be okay. Just breathe. We have that mannerism about us. So I'm getting too long, and I was going to say some other things, but I'll leave it. So yeah, after going through this and an apocalyptic event, type event, I can say firsthand that INFPs are valued in this type situation. We may not be valued in the real world when it's going fine and the hustle and bustle and the cutthroat competition world of the work world, of the life world. We don't get along that well with the sensory part. We get sensory overload easily because that is what our cognitive functions are about. We're not sensors. Even when we try, I can speak for myself and I can speak for, I think, for people that I see on YouTube. I don't know any INFPs in person, but on YouTube, what they have struggles with and what they do well. Even if they don't talk about it, I can tell by when they do their videos what they're struggling with and what they're at ease with, just by watching body language. So, yeah, in the regular world, when things are working fine, we feel like we're outliers and outcasts, and we don't have friends, and we don't have this. And that's what I've said in the last video or two. I felt that way. But now this has happened, and yeah, the world gets calmer, and when they get calmer, they are not comfortable in this calmness. So that's what we provide. And so yeah, I'd like to hear your comments. I like to see what you have to say, and know that I will be back at some point. I will change subjects at some point. This will be my rambling venue for the podcast are just put on hold for right now. I got to get my budget worked out, probably the first of the year, and it calmed down from this, what I'm going through here now. But does feel good kind of to get back. So until next time, I mean this 100%, and I've always meant it, but more so than ever, just know, really and truly, I want you all to stay safe.